For today's cup of coffee,
The damn camera decided to beep as soon as we pressed record.
we have youngest kid back with us. And I know that my video yesterday, it was just sad. It was sad. And it's really, what is sad was, and I was trying to remember what her name was. I think it's Bafana. Was actually such a good story. And I probably should have waited until Kid could have taken part in it. Mm-hmm. So, La Befana. And I think that it's like I started out with Italian, and then I think I crossed over into where it was like a Spanish pronunciation. Because I'm not adept in any of those. Mm-hmm. You know, I can at least, I can read and understand Spanish more than the other ones. So, and I really...
I don't know like a Spanish. I know no hablo español, and that's
right.
it.
Well, that's... Donde está el cuarto de baño?
Hello, what?
Yeah, that's... cerveza...
Where's the bathroom? Is that what it was?
That's exactly it. Cerveza, vino, no agua. So,
no water.
No water, either wine or beer. So... But I'm glad to have him back, and, you know, because the root canal procedure did take a long time for him yesterday.
It zapped me.
I think it zapped all of us.
Because it zapped you because you had to sit in the car the whole time.
And I did take Stratera, but as far as ADHD person having to sit still for any length of time, even with medication, that does not work well.
My issue was they put me in a room that there was a window that was open,
right?
And they were still having to work, and they still decided to work on me with that window open. And I'm like,
what's wrong with that?
I don't want people to see what they're fucking torturing me with.
Oh well, you had nitrous oxide. Why did you care? I think that they should have that. They should have a street version of nitrous oxide. Really, that's some good stuff.
I want the nitrous oxide 24/7. Has anyone overdosed on nitrous oxide somehow?
I would say that probably, that's one of those that you do have to have the oxygen and stuff at some point. Anyhow, for today's cup of coffee, we have an interesting one. I will say, this is not for children at all.
None of these are for children.
Well, none of them are, but especially not this one as far as when it has to do with some of the myths, legends, customs, different parts of the world as they pertain to the Christmas season. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like, maybe I'm just a matter of American kids. Because they're not, with the Disneyfication of America, which I usually have another phrase for it. This is not. Don't
dare you put that back.
These are not kinder, friendlier Christmas stories.
No.
Because there was the positive side where we had Santa Claus and Kris Kringle, and we'll go into that sometime in the coming week. But usually he had a companion, and there were consequences for bad choices and bad behavior, and the consequences were dire. So we're going to explore some of those today.
Okay.
And I have put some of these names. I actually spelled them out phonetically. That doesn't mean that I can continue throughout the presentation saying them correctly. Because I've done that lots. And this first person is Père Fouettard. Père Fouettard. And that's where we should have gotten your brother, because he took French. So, anyhow, the story of Père Fouettard originated, of course, in France and southern Belgium in the year of 1150. And he was a butcher who lived in a small French village with his very greedy wife. And they lived near a boarding school where the children of the wealthy families would attend. And one day, Fouettard and his wife saw three boys walking toward the school when they decided that they wanted to rob them for the gold they believed was in their pockets. And so the Fouettards offered the young boys sweets that were secretly poisoned. And maybe that's one of those where the Halloween thing came from.
Yeah.
But these killed all three children. and Fouettard slit the boys' throats, chopped them up into pieces, and kept the remains inside of a barrel.
What the fuck? This got Oh, this got dark real fast.
It's some hardcore stuff. I warn people. And it says St. Nicholas discovered the crime and brought the children back to life. As punishment, he forced Fouettard into bondage as his eternal manservant. He follows St. Nick around, dealing with the problem children. And in the 1930s, Fouettard appeared in the United States under the translated name Father Flog or Spanky. I thought that was hilarious. See, this is what happens here in America.
What the fuck? Oh my god!
And although almost
Jesus.
Identical to the original French personification, Father Flog had nothing to do with Christmas and also had a female accomplice named Mother Flog. And the two doled out specific punishments for specific childhood crimes, such as cutting out the tongue for lying. And the most common appearance and or depiction of Fouettard is of a man with a sinister face dressed in dark robes with scraggly, unkempt hair and a long beard.
Loves it.
He is armed with a whip, a large stick, or bundles of switches. And some incarnations of the character have him wearing a wicker backpack in which children can be placed and carried away. And sometimes he merely carries a large bundle of sticks on his back.
That sounds more like Krampus.
Sort of. Now, Krampus is going to get his own cup of coffee because he's become popular. And I will put all of the resources and stuff in the description box. We have from TopTenz, we have from The Guardian, we have several from Wikipedia, and we even have from Ripley's.com. So we will definitely put those there and give credit to. I was excited about it. Mm-hmm. I didn't mention my references at the beginning. Then we have Frau Perchta. I could say Frau. I knew that one.
Okay. I don't know. Listen, I'm not one for pronunciation. So
well, these are pretty cool. I mean, they are gruesome.
I mean, they're gruesome. Yeah, they're pretty cool. But I like I said, I'm not going to try to pronounce.
Well, something. I try. I actually do try. Anyhow, the legend of Frau Perchta, which in English is translated to Bertha.
What?
I don't know. And this is a well-known, specifically Germany and Austrian persona.
Okay.
This Christmas witch is also known as the belly splitter.
Love that.
Because if a person is lazy or has committed too many bad deeds during the year, how many's too many?
Yeah.
That's sort of subjective. That she will slit their belly open and steal their insides with the long knife she hides under her clothes. She will then replace the stolen organs with garbage, straw, or rocks. She has also been said to cut out the tongues of children who lie, and she's found a spinner's work half finished. She would set fire to it. She's followed by a pack of demons who torture people who are bad. However, she's also said to protect the good people from the evil spirits.
That sounds like a crock of shit. Like she's a more bad spirit than good.
Well, yeah.
Like, seriously, even the good people fuck up now and again,
Absolutely.
so then she's gonna hurt those people too.
Well, that's what it said. It said it's a matter of too many.
Some people consider one bad thing too many.
That's true.
You can't go through life without fucking up multiple times.
That's true. Some are worse than others, though. In some folk tales, she is described as a beautiful woman wearing all white, but in other, darker versions, she is said to be an ugly old woman with a long, curved nose and dressed in rags. She is said to visit homes during the 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany to check on families to make sure they are spending quality time together. Oh, hell, during the season of the coof, she is going to have her work cut out for her.
Mm-hmm. That means she's going to have to be a little lenient.
No, it ain't going to happen. Families who often leave out porridge for her as an offering. And if she thinks that a person was kind and generous throughout the year, she will leave them a silver coin in their shoe. And in some descriptions, Perchta has two forms. She may appear either as the beautiful and white as snow, like her name, or as elderly and haggard. In many descriptions, Perchta has one large foot, sometimes called a goose foot or swan foot. And Jacob Graham thought the strange foot symbolized her being a higher being who could shape-shift into animal form. And he noticed that Perchta/Bertha had a strange foot, with a strange foot, exists in many languages. And it is apparently a swan maiden's foot, which as a mark of her higher nature she cannot lay aside, and at the same time it was the spinning woman's splay foot that worked the treadle.
Okay.
Of the spin. So I guess I can see how that would, the muscles in that one foot would kind of,
Yeah.
And then in Tyrol, Austria, she appears as a little old woman with a very wrinkled face, bright, lively eyes, and a long hooked nose. Her hair is disheveled, her garments tattered and torn. Now, if they had combat boots added to that, they would have described your mama.
Your garments are not tattered and torn.
I don't know. My hoodies, some of them, they a little worn. Then we have Mary Lwyd. Or it's Marie Lwyd.
Okay.
Because this is Welsh. And you talk about a language that it's nothing looks like how it is pronounced at all, ever. Mm. So I do struggle with the Welsh, with the Gaelic and stuff like that. Love it. But as far as me being able to pronounce it, that's a real challenge. Now, Marie Lwyd is thought to have originally meant gray mare or white mare. Now, with this tradition, they really don't know because it is so ancient that there's really not any written record about it, it's probably pre-Christian. I'd almost guarantee it's pre-Christian. Mm-hmm. And the Marie Lwyd itself consists of a horse's skull that is decorated with ribbons and affixed to a pole. And then on the back of the skull is attached a white sheet which drapes down to conceal the person that is carrying the pole and the pole itself.
Okay.
So that sounds like we need a horse skull. We need a horse skull.
We just had to wait for our horse to die.
Oh, God, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Anyhow.
It's going to happen eventually. She's old.
I know. It's one of those that's going to line up somebody with a backhoe. Occasionally, the horse's head is not a skull, but it can be made from wood or paper. And sometimes the horse's jaw is able to open and close by a string or a lever. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And it could be, do you know how many horrifying things we could do with that?
Yes, it's the same thing as a ventriloquist's puppet. It
is, but can you imagine? It's on a pole, so it could be raised up to upper windows.
That'd be interesting.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And the hollow eye sockets of the skull, sometimes they fill those with glass beads or something, so that it looks like it's got some kind of an eye somewhere back through there. And the Marie Lwyd party will approach a house and sing a song requesting entrance to the home. And then the inhabitants of the house are supposed to offer excuses for why they can't enter. And then the party sings a second song, and it's like a musical battle between the two sides. Mm-hmm. So that could be fun. And what happens is the homeowners will eventually run out of ideas or excuses, and at that point they're obliged to allow the party to enter and to give them food and ale. That would be worth a song.
Yeah.
And in some areas, there is no musical battle, and the Marie Lwyd is granted entry into the home automatically after singing the first verse of the song. Once inside, the entertainment continues with the Marie Lwyd running around, neighing and snapping its jaws, creating havoc, frightening the children, yes, and even the adults, while the leader pretended to try and restrain it. And then, they played music and entertained the whole household.
Okay.
So that could be fun.
Yeah.
And they must have a more sparsely furnished house than ours. I can't imagine somebody running through with a pole with a horse head on it.
No. I couldn't imagine.
They could frighten. Yes, they could frighten the cats. Then we have this one. It's about Hans Trapp. And thank God, the Sound of Music, the Trapp family, you've got to.
The Von Trapps. Oh, God. Stop bringing that shit up. I'm tired of it still.
Oh. And it says, according to lore, Hans Trapp was a local man renowned for his greed and unscrupulousness. He used witchcraft and deals with the devil to become witch, and after being excommunicated from the Catholic Church, he lost his wealth and social standing. He took to roaming the countryside disguised as a scarecrow. And at some point, Hans Trapp became consumed with the idea of tasting human flesh. He lured a shepherd boy to his death, then cooked him over a fire. Before Hans Trapp could take his first bite, however, God supposedly had finally had thought that things had gone too far and struck him with lightning. Now, that is the myth. Okay, it says Hans Trapp died, but he returned sometimes on Christmas, going from door to door looking for young, tasty children's. You're just looking at me.
So basically, God got freaked out by his own game with this dude and decided to zap him.
That's the tale. But the man who inspired the legend, and this comes from the Ripley's website, there was a gentleman named Hans von Trotha, who was a knight that lived from 1450 to 1503, and he commanded 2 castles in the Palatine territory, which is there between France and Germany. But he became embroiled in an argument with the church over property. The abbot would not concede certain properties to Van Trotha, so the embittered knight stopped the supply of water to a nearby town with a dam. Then in retaliation, the abbot had the dam destroyed, which flooded the villagers' homes and businesses. So, the homes in the village, it's always the serfs and the villagers who suffer, always. And the dispute continued until, just as with Hans Trapp, the knight was summoned by the Pope himself and excommunicated. Okay? Uh-huh. And while there's no record of Von Trotha turning to cannibalism and hunting children while dressed as a scarecrow, what we know of Hans Van Trotha's life is also extraordinary. Even the emperor's intervention wasn't enough to put a stop to the knight's battle with the abbot, which is why Pope Innocent VIII came into the picture. After being summoned to the successor, Pope Alexander VI, papal court, yes, I did put this stuff in actual numbers this time, Von Trotha refused to attend. Instead, he sent a letter to the Pope which described his faith and at the same time accused the Pope of a variety of impure acts.
Which is probably true.
Even excommunicated, Von Trotha did well for himself. Serving the French royal court, he was given another knighthood, or a knighthood, by King Lwyd XII. On his death, all charges against him were reversed and forgiven. Something of his notoriety lived on, though, and not only in Hans Trapp. Local legends also referred to him as the Black Knight, a formidable specter that was also sometimes said to accompany Santa Claus and punish children who were unworthy of gifts. So I figure what this is because he really did piss off the Pope.
Mm-hmm. Rightfully so.
And that they invented this horrible legend about him.
Yeah.
So,
because guess what? Let me rant about the fucking Catholics.
No, because we may have people. It's not the people who believe most of the time. It's like everything else. A lot of this is the hierarchy. Now, seriously, don't rant on the people that believe. Remember, it's always one of those. Just like the dam broke and it flooded the people, well, shit flows downhill too. Okay? Okay, so we don't know these people's belief systems, and I'm not going to intentionally offend someone. And if they don't have a belief system, I'm not going to intentionally offend someone. Kids looking at me funny. A rant on that is for another channel.
You're right. This. That's on my TikTok. I can do that.
Well, you can do that. That's your TikTok. That's your thing. But I found it very interesting that a lot of these other countries have real, as far as the personification of consequences for bad behavior. And that is so contrary to our world today, where everybody's trying to, everything's got to be nice and soft and rainbows and unicorns, and it is totally opposite of reality. So, are you still upset with me because you're sitting there with pursed lips? Are you there because that I won't let you rant?
No.
But I've told people that Christmas is more pagan than Halloween ever dreamed of being.
Yeah. And yet people want to argue with you on that, which is such shit. It's like y'all are so far up your own ass the toilet's jealous.
But you know what? On this, all the research that we did as far as Samhain and Halloween and everything like that, there was nothing like this associated with that holiday.
No.
So I think it's just, I don't know.
Dear
This
God.
is why we stay in the house. It's best we stay in the house.
Oh, you can't avoid it now. We got the internet.
Well, I can turn that off if I need to. But now we do have, we've got on the 19th when this airs, full moon. That full moon's supposed to bring some gnarly stuff. Yeah. Then on the 21st, we do have Yule/winter solstice. Mm-hmm. And I do think that the Krampus deserves his own cup of coffee because he is, of all these other dark ones, why don't they have movies? Why don't they have greeting cards or beating cards? Season's beatings. That was my favorite. That used to be my favorite card to give people back when I was in college.
Of course, it was.
Yeah, and these people need to have notoriety and fame also. But we will. There's one as far as the celebration of, and I'll have to learn how to pronounce this. It's basically as far as Saturn. It's Saturnalia, one or the other. And that's, you get into deepness on that. Deepness, because that goes in with the black cubes, and some people say it ties in with the Illuminatis and all that stuff, and the reptilians, and yeah. Kid was asking me earlier, he's like, I thought we were doing light and fluffy, and it's like, I just don't have
I know. That's a hell no.
I did light and fluffy for a while, but after
a day. Yes. You did it for a day. That ain't a lot.
You got to, it's just the essence of my being to find out these things and question
I need to pull
things.
You out into the world of light and fluffy.
No, you've seen me, and it's like
that is your hell, isn't it?
It is this. If you put me with these people that are doing, what is it, the fuzzy cute thing, and with
that's a little dated, but sure.
Well, whatever. So am I. Any of this stuff, and like you were talking about your friend, God love her, that actually cried because something was so cute. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I do not do well in that world, and it makes me feel violent.
Now, I've cried because when listening to certain songs because they were so beautiful, but that's different.
Yeah, I mean, as far as music and stuff, being able to inspire emotions and stuff like that, I get that. But to be filled in a room full of puppies and weep because they're so cute. Yeah. No. Like I said, that makes me feel violent. It does.
What the fuck is wrong?
I don't know.
Some issues.
I do. This is why I stay in the house. I stay in the house. I have my skulls. I have my happy things. We have the Yule goat in the window now. And
without his crown.
Well, his crown will go back after we do this video.
Are you going to tape it to his head too?
No, he didn't need to have it taped to his head. And this is done well that the tape has held on.
I'm surprised.
That we did not have any kind of fire during this one. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
So, if you've had experiences with supernatural, paranormal encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, local, regional families, myths, legends. If you're aware of any of these really interesting, uncommon, I guess is a proper word for it, Christmas traditions. Oh, please send any of that to us, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, because I think these things are fabulous.
Oh, they're fascinating.
And, especially the ones that are so ancient that we don't even remember where they came from. Mm-hmm. That's just cool. And that was one of the things that some of these are becoming more popular, that they had been almost lost to history, and that people are bringing them back, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Good soup.
Yeah. So thank you for taking time to share the seasonal weirdness with us.
Yes.
And sharing a cup of coffee. Know that you're appreciated and know that you're loved. Mm-hmm. And so we will see you all on the next cup.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share, and most of all, comment and subscribe. And click that little bell if you're on YouTube.
YouTube. I mean,
shush, just leave it at that. Just leave it at that. Just leave it at that. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.